And we're back with another book spotlight by me. Okay, that's kind of vain. Anyway, look, Magic Man plus 15 Tales of Terror. And you can only guess what this is: a horror short story collection. Now, what's funny about this is when I came up with the title Magic Man plus 15 Tales of Terror, I had a writer friend who go, really? Is that the best you could come up with? Because normally short story collections have like some sort of thematic title, right? And mine was just this. And I told him, I said, you know what? It's the title that actually fits the book. I mean, Magic Man is an evil character. I introduced him way back in a deluxe chapbook, which was basically a short story in book form. And since then, I've actually used him a few times in short stories, hence this. And he was even the villain in the not. It's very hard to find now, but the Axioman of Magic and Men comic book, where Axioman goes up against the Magic Man. And what's cool about the Magic Man is he's a man of his word, right? So he'll go to you if you need something oh so desperately, and he'll have a price, of course, that you need to pay. And he always delivers on his promise, always, but not in the way that you expected. And that's what makes him such an evil guy. But anyway, another thing, behind the scenes, that's me. That's me on the cover. Yes, I Rob Zombied it up and made a cover. There you go. But anyway, Magic Man plus 15 Tales of Terror. This is actually, believe it or not, is a good seller at conventions. People love it. I guess maybe it's the cover that draws it to them. And then, of course, they read the back and are intrigued. And what's cool, too, is, if I could show it, yeah. In the book itself, we got some spot illustration / photography going on. There's one piece there. There's another one there, which is kind of a version of the cover. But again, these are like Magic Man stories, right? So we got some spot illustration throughout, and of course, other tales of darkness. And what's cool about this book too is, of course, like any short story collection for any author, is it's a culmination of years of effort put together between two covers. I mean, all these short stories, I didn't sit down to write down, like, I'm going to do a short story collection, so I'm going to sit down and write a whole pile of short stories, put them together, and call it good. No. These were just short stories that over the years were written. Some were sold to other publications for their anthologies and stuff, and then I got the rights back after the fact. And, yeah, so they're a pile of different horror stories, but, of course, several of them contain the Magic Man. And lastly, the stories, some of them are just like, me thinking there at the computer, like what's scary and what's spooky. And then some of them are actually based on dreams. I've had some really dark and twisted and weird dreams that I just had to put on the page. And I did. And like, there's a story in here called Spinning Room. And that was 100% based on a dream. And for whatever reason, I was able to recall the dream like it's in its entirety, and I basically just wrote the dream down, and it's quite a head trip when you read the tale. But anyway, I'm going to read you from the back. Basically how it's listed is not a synopsis of the book as a whole, but rather, as you can see, it's kind of like brief synopsises of some of the stories within. So I'm going to share that with you, so just maybe I'll catch your interest a little bit. But anyway, it goes on the back. It says, 15 tales of darkness lie within this thrilling collection of horrific adventure. The Magic Man comes when you least expect him. Give him what he wants, and he'll grant you your heart's desire. But are you prepared to pay the price? Another story. A mother of two is en route to take her kids to the babysitters when darkness envelops her car and covers the world in black and gray. No matter how many times Sharon tries to beat the spinning room, someone always dies, unless she can find a way to conquer the Tower of Terror once and for all. Jimmy learns plenty about his life when he encounters an evil version of himself in his car's rearview mirror. A trip out to the family cabin is not what it seems, and cigarette-loving Robert is granted the chill of his life. It's dinner at the Michaels estate, and Terrance Michaels must face the truth of what goes on beneath his house's roof. Father Haldo was heard every sin imaginable. He just wasn't prepared to enter booth 2 for this particular round of confessions. Imagine waking up surrounded by damp soil, only to find yourself in a room with half-buried bodies, faces sticking out from the dirt, and mysterious creatures called benders. That's exactly what happens to Gary Smith when he finds himself in a place under the earth. Bernie Calhoun knows nightmares, and the one he had about the man in the woods when he was a boy still haunts him to this day. To make matters worse, he realizes he might have brought something back with him into the real world long ago. These tales and more await you within. Gathering material spanning a decade, A.P. Fuchs shares his nightmares. And yeah, that last one there, when it talks about the man in the woods, that was based on a childhood dream I had. And what was so scary about that dream was, I mean, I won't reveal the contents of the dream because we put it in a story form, but what was really scary was I remember I was a kid. I was probably around 9, 10 years old, and every so often my brother and I would have, sleepovers in each other's room where, one would be on the bed, one would be on the floor, and we just did that for fun, and so I happened to be in my brother's room, and I was sleeping on the floor, and I had this nightmare about the man in the woods. But what made the thing utterly, utterly terrifying was when I woke up with a start after the end of the dream, I heard yelling from our basement, in the real world, yelling from our basement, "See you tomorrow night!" And it was him. And it scared the crap out of me. And I remember shouting for my dad, like, "Dad!" How kids do when they have a nightmare, right? "Dad!" And so Dad came in, and I told him what happened, and he took me out of the room so my brother could still sleep. But yeah, he took me out of the room, and I told him what the dream, and I told him what I heard, and he explained to me, and that's when I learned about waking dreams. That sometimes dreams carry over into real life as you wake up, just because your brain's not 100% transition from dream state to real life state, so to speak. But man, scary stuff. So yeah, like I said, on the bottom here where it says gathering material spanning a decade, A.P. Fuchs shares his nightmares. Well, some real nightmares, true nightmares, are in this book. And again, this is popular at conventions. I mentioned that again because it's grip people. I mean, I have people come back to the table and they've looked at this one, sitting there, and they go, "Yeah, I have that one. I like that a lot." And I've even had people pick it up and buy a second copy for somebody else because they enjoyed their copy that much. So that's a little bit of bragging about it, a little bit of a sales pitch, but whatever. The point is, short story collection, Magic Man plus 15 Tales of Terror. This has been your book spotlight. We'll see you for the next book because apparently I got too many of them. Anyway, take care. God bless. Have a good day.